Hi, my name is Dhanalakshmi Kumar, and my group members are Mohammed Shafiq Shaban bin Bohat Rozi, Yeo Kayen, Yu Lijin, Nur Shahira binti Arazmi, and Nur Ayuni Nabila binti Abdullah. Today, we will present our case study about one of KCL's products, which is baby disposable diapers. From this case study, we have been know that KCL is aiming to increase its baby disposable diapers market share and customer satisfaction. In order to do so, we are assisting KCL management by providing the information on the background of respondent based on the customer survey conducted by KCL. Several statistical analyses were conducted to achieve this case study's objective, which is to have a better understanding on the demographic background of respondents. Next, I will describe the background of respondents to the KCL's products, Baby Disposable Diapers Customer Survey. These are the background questions for the customer survey. Age of baby in months, gender of baby, users of diapers, likelihood to purchase brands under KCL, overall perception on the quality of diaper, sensitivity of baby skin, diaper size, whether it is the first baby, range of respondents' age of mother, marital status, employment status, education status, and household annual income. Then, each summary and descriptive analysis were conducted to gain a summary of the samples. Table 2.0 on the left side shows the summary statistics for the age of babies that calculated in months. As Table 2.0 shows, the middle point of the dataset is 10.5 months old, and the most commonly occurring data point in the age of baby is 5 months old. Meanwhile, the average age of baby is 12.83. In the right box, Table and Graph 2.1 present the corresponding gender information for babies. From the color segment in the pie chart, 15% of gender of baby boy is, while the other half is girl. Overall, in the survey, 15 people have boy baby, while the other 15 have girl baby. Table 2.2 shows the age of mothers that taken part in the customer survey. As the pie chart 2.2 shows, the majority age of mother is 30 years old and less with 21 people, while the next is between 31 to 40 years old with 8%. The list is only one customer with around age of more than 40 years old. Meanwhile, as shown in the graph and table 2.3 in the right side, from the total 30 respondents, the most common marital status among respondents are already married with 17%, while others are 13% are singles. The left box shown the differences between employment status among respondents in the KCL survey. From the bar graph and table 2.4, 7% that took part in the survey are full-time workers. In the meantime, 18 respondents were doing part-time jobs, while the rest, which is 5%, were not employed. Meanwhile, the right box shown the descriptive statistics for educational level. As the bar graph and table 2.5 show, the highest educational status for 27 per 30 respondents is college or diploma. Two people from the remaining respondents have degree, while the rest 1% have the secondary educational status.
Hi, my name is Nur Ayuni Nabila binti Abdullah. With measure number U2003463, we will presented about question B and question C. Question B asks us to graph the normal probability plot of baby age in month. Before we plot the graph of normal probability, we need to find the Z value first. In order to find the Z value, we need to know the cumulative area. The formula for cumulative area is I divided by n plus 1. N is equal to number of sample, which is 30. Okay, for example, age in month 1, the cumulative area is 1 divided by 30 plus 1, or 1 divided by 31. We will get 0.0323. In order to get the Z value for age in month 1, I prefer to do it in Excel. I need to find the function of normal.s.inv, which is the standard normal cumulative distribution. Okay, in order to plot the graph, we need to find the Z value for all the age in month, which is from age in month 1 until the age in month 29. Okay, after we find all the Z value for age in month from 1 until 29, we plot the graph. Okay, the x-axis is that value, while the y-axis is baby age in month. Okay, we can clearly see that all the point is not in straight line. This shows that the data is not normally distributed. We move to question C. Based on the graph, conduct statistical tasks to examine if the median age of baby is same across different gender. As we know, the data is not normally distributed. So we have 4 different tasks, such as Loving test, Ruskell-Wallis test, Mann-Whitney-U test, and also Wilkerson test. Okay, my group and I choose the Mann-Whitney-U test because we need to test 2 different samples, which is the age of baby and also the gender of baby. Firstly, we need to state the null hypothesis. In this case, the null hypothesis is the median of baby age is the same across different genders, while the alternative hypothesis is the median of baby age is not the same across different genders. Next, we need to rank the value in the combined list in ascending order and sum up the rank according to the sample. First, we combine the list in ascending order, so we can rank all the value in the samples. Then we sum up according to their samples. For example, for boy, sum ranks is 220, while for girl, the sum ranks is 245. Okay, we move to computing U test. Okay, firstly, we need to find mean for boys and also mean for girls. 1 is for boys and 2 is for girls. The formula for mean is N1 times N2 plus N1 in bracket N1 plus 1 divided by 2 minus W1. N is the number of sample, while W is the sum ranks. Okay, the mean for boys is 125, while the mean for girls is 100. Next, we need to find the expected mean for this data. Okay, the formula is N1 times N2 divided by 2. We will get 112.5. Next, we will find the variance for this data. The formula is N1 times N2 in bracket N1 plus N2 plus 1 divided by 12. We will get 582.25. Next, we will find the standard deviation. The formula is square root of the variance just now. Okay, the standard deviation is equal to 24.1091. Alright, next we compute the Z statistic. The formula is mean 1 minus expected mean divided by standard deviation. For example, 125 minus 112.5 divided by 24.11. We will get the Z statistic is 0.5185. The Z critical value is negative 1.645. In this graph, we can see that the negative 1.645 is smaller than the Z statistic, which is 0.5185. So the Z statistics is fall into the region that do not reject the H naught. Lastly, we need to make the decision and also the conclusion. The decision is the Z statistic is larger than Z critical value, which is 0.5185, is larger than negative 1.645. Thus, we do not reject the null hypothesis. In conclusion, we can conclude that there is not sufficient evidence of difference in the class size of median.
Hello, my name is Yuli Jun and I will present part of the non-parametric test result, which is the chi-square test of independent. In 4.1, we're going to test the likelihood to purchase and skin sensitivity, whether they are independent or dependent. First, we're going to state the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. Then we're going to sort out the data and form an observed table. Next, we're going to use the formula row total times columns total divided by n to calculate the expected self-frequency and form the following table. So we obtain our observed data and the expected data. Now we can calculate the chi-square test statistic using the formula here. And our result will be 5.8134. The critical value for chi-square is 12.592. So we do not reject the null hypothesis since the chi-square test statistic is smaller than the critical value. So our conclusion is there are sufficient evidence that the likelihood to purchase and skin sensitivity are independent. So for the following test, we'll go through the same process as 4.1. In 4.2, we're going to test whether the use of Huggies brand and diaper size are independent or dependent. Same as just now, we're going to have the observed table and then calculate the expected self-frequency and turn it into a table. The result of the chi-square test statistic is 7.8646, while the critical value is 7.815. So we reject the null hypothesis since the test statistic is greater than the critical value. The conclusion is there are sufficient evidence that use of the Huggies brand and the diaper size are dependent. 4.3, we're going to find out whether education and household income are independent or dependent. For the chi-square statistic, we get the result 19.8942. The critical value is 12.592, so we reject the null hypothesis since the test statistic is greater than the critical value. The conclusion is there are sufficient evidence that the education and household income are dependent. We continue with test 4.4 to test the independence of employment status and household income. For the chi-square test statistic, the result is 14.0181. The critical value is 12.592, so we reject the null hypothesis since the test statistic is greater than the critical value. The conclusion is there are sufficient evidence that the employment status and the household income are dependent. And that is all from me. Thank you.
My name is Muhammad Shafi Shaban bin Muhammad Rozi. So I will continue. 4.5, chi-square test for difference between two proportion, the bigger and the bigger. So we say that for H null, both proportion is equal, while for H alternative, both proportion is not equal. As you can see here in the left hand side, we got observed versus expected frequencies, while the right hand side we got chi-square test statistic equal to 2.4. Therefore, for critical value is 3.841, where degree of freedom is 1 and alpha 0.05. Decision is do not reject null hypothesis since chi-square test is smaller than critical value. Conclusion is there is not sufficient evidence that the two proportions are different. Moving on to 4.6, critical values test. Overall perception on the ability of the four data brands. So for H null, we say that both variables are the same, and for H alternative, both variables are the difference. As you can see here is sum of ranking of each values at the left hand side, and at the below is about the computation H test statistic equal to 0.44107. Therefore, critical value is equal to 7.815, where degree of freedom is 3 and alpha 0.05. Decision is do not reject null hypothesis since H statistic is smaller than critical value. Conclusion, there is sufficient evidence that the median of the overall perception on the quality of the 4 diaper breasts used most of the time are the same. So, for the last test, 4.7, man-Whitney test, overall perception with baby boy and girl on the quality of diapers. For H9, we say that both variables are the same. For H alternative, we say that both variables are different. So, as you can see here in the left-hand side, we got sum of ranks and number of samples, also with U value for baby boy and baby girl. Therefore, we got U value equal to 105.5, expected U value 112.5, standard deviation 34.1092. Hence, we take U value minus expected U value divided by standard deviation to get Z value equal to negative 0.29035. So for critical value equal to negative 1.96 at alpha 0.05 for the two-tailed test. Decision is do not reject null hypothesis since Z value is smaller than critical value. Conclusion is there is sufficient evidence that the overall perception of the respondent of baby boy and girl on the quality of the diaper are the same.
Thank you, Shafa, and good day, everyone. I'm Yao Kan. After discussing the result of non-parametric test, let's proceed with the discussion session. In testing the chi-square independence of likely to purchase and skin sensitivity, we obtained that these two variables are independent. However, we still strongly suggest that KCL to do more research and development continuously to develop their product. This to ensure better product quality and minimize the chances of causing sensitive to the baby. By doing so, customer satisfaction will also grow with the product quality. The next variable which we obtain a decision of dependence are the education and annual household income. The annual household income is actually one of the determinants of consumer purchasing power to our product. Thus, KCL should pay more attention on attracting the educated customer because they are the majority of the customer, which are 27 out of 30. By doing so, it also benefits KCL when advanced technology is being introduced, a better product to attract the educated ones. In conducting the chi-square independence test, we also obtained that the employment and annual household income is dependent. We can see that the employment status of the mother does give impact on the annual household income. Thus, KCL should focus on promoting strategy which can attract the working women, such as highlight the benefit of using baby disposable diapers, such as time saving. Lastly, we also obtained that in testing the use most of the time of Huggies and diaper size, these two variables are dependent. Thus, in order to improve the comfortability of KCL baby diaper size, KCL should do some research on the diaper size of Huggies. That's all from me. Thank you, and I would like to pass the subsequent part to the next presenter, Shahira. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Kahyan, and hi everyone. My name is Shahira, and I will explain about other three tests. First, chi-square test differences between two proportions. We obtained that proportion of the first baby boy is equal to the proportion of first baby girls. We suggest that KCL should not focus on the gender of baby when planning the marketing strategies. Second, in order to testing the median of the overall perception on the quality of the 4 diapers brand are the same or not, we are using the Kruskal-Wiley test. We find out that the median of the overall perception on the quality of the 4 diaper brand are the same, and we get the mean is equal to 9.2. We also noticed that R&D still needed to improve customer perception. And the last, we used the Man-Whitney test. By using the Man-Whitney test, we discovered that the overall perception of the respondent with baby boy and baby girl on the quality of diapers are the same. This is illustrate that the gender of baby does not affect mother's overall perception on the KCL diapers brands. Also, it is not necessary to focus on gender of baby when planning the marketing strategies. In a conclusion, we noticed that KCL baby disposable diapers are divided into a few segments, and some of them are related. Besides, improvement also can be done because KCL can make on its baby disposable diapers as well as marketing strategy. And last, because there is limitation of statistical analysis of our case study, the further study is strongly encouraged. It's because to have a better understanding of the market segment and thus can improve market share as well as customer certification. I think that's all from our group. Thank you.